Who's there? Who? That man looking at us and smiling. The nasty dog.
My dear, don't you know? That's Red Butler. He's from Charleston.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
The name's Sherlock Holmes and the address is 221B Baker Street.
Although he didn't get his start in Hollywood, the Sherlock actor was catapulted to movie stardom based on his turn as the brilliant Arthur Conan Doyle detective. However, writer and co-creator Mark Gatiss revealed that Benedict Cumberbatch was almost passed up for the role based on his looks.
Some people said I look a bit like a hammerhead shark.
Yeah.
Or, a lizard man. And
Also great.
I sort of think I look a little bit like Sid the Sloth from Ice Age.
Totally, you do.
BBC execs were picking apart the actor's physical features behind the scenes. It was only after the chemistry read that they were convinced he was right for the part. Thousands of fans who developed a crush on Cumberbatch as a result would like to have a word or two with those British bigwigs.
Hey, does my answer have to be in English?
Why?
Because my feelings would be best described using a series of noises, sort of like
Michael J. Fox.
Look, Alex, I think I'd better explain something to you.
Look, okay, you don't have to draw me a picture. I think I know what's going on here.
NBC executive Brandon Tartikoff had two notes for Family Ties producers. Their choice for the role of Alex P. Keaton, the young Republican son of two former hippies, wouldn't work for two reasons. One, he was too short, and two, Tartikoff couldn't see someone with Michael J. Fox's face selling merchandise, namely lunchboxes.
I won't stand for this. This is a travesty. This is a sin against capitalism.
Fox was a runaway success on the show. He parlayed that TV fame into feature film stardom with the Back to the Future series. There was apparently no bad blood between the executive and the actor, as Fox would later give Tartikoff a lunchbox with his face on it.
I guess you guys aren't ready for that yet. But your kids are gonna love it.
Fred Astaire.
I'd like to try this thing just once. Come on, honey.
We'll show him a thing or three.
Whether or not he was paired with Ginger Rogers, Fred Astaire was one of the great dancers of classic Hollywood. His footwork was matched only by his slick charm and charisma, but a screen test at RKO didn't go so well.
Charming little spot you have here. When does the concert start?
Just as soon as you and the rain stop.
Although the story passed into legend, Astaire later said one studio representative passed on him because he was balding. In one of the understatements of the century, the executive also said Astaire could, quote, dance a little. He would later go on to make several successful movies for the studio and became the standard bearer for sophisticated leading men of the 1930s.
I'm putting on the top hat, tying up my white tie, brushing off my tail.
Clint Eastwood.
All right, let's have it.
Have what?
The report. What have you been doing?
The Dirty Harry star's rugged looks and callous attitude helped redefine masculinity in the 1960s and 70s. The rough-voiced, squinting hero of mid-century westerns made much of his early career in TV westerns for Universal. When the studio ended his contract in the 1950s, the story goes it was because of his looks.
Roddy, why don't you go out and sing?
Yeah. You lost your mind or something? I can't sing to him.
Well, yeah, just sing like you do to the beeves. That's good enough.
Look, boys, those are cattle. These are people out here, and they got guns.
Apparently, the studio had grown tired of him, as he had a chipped tooth he wouldn't fix and an Adam's apple that was too big. That's the story according to fellow actor and friend Burt Reynolds, who was fired around the same time.
We're walking to his truck, afterwards, and I said, you're in a hell of a lot of trouble. And he said, why? And I said, I can learn to act. You'll never get rid of that Adam's apple.
Adam Driver.
Okay, that's Adam. He does sort of look like the original man. No, like my Adam, like Adam.
Rising to fame playing the eccentric and passionate boyfriend of the lead on HBO's Girls, Adam Driver's brooding and stoic face had made him at home in a variety of roles. His talent has made him a favorite of directors like Martin Scorsese and Noah Baumbach. However, his distinctive look has been pointed out by many, even in interviews.
You always made me aware of what I was doing wrong, how I was falling short. Life with you was joyless.
During a 2023 appearance on Who's Talking to Chris Wallace, the host asked Driver if he struggled because he doesn't look like a typical movie star. While Driver handled the question with grace, Wallace's line of questioning earned criticism on the internet.
I've worked consistently, which is nice, with people that I've wanted to, always dreamed that I wanted to work with, and so in that sense, it hasn't. I look how I look. I can't change that. So I guess it helped me.
Dustin Hoffman.
It's like I've been playing some kind of game, but the rules don't make any sense to me. They're being made up by all the wrong people. No. I mean, no one makes them up. They seem to have made themselves up.
The 1967 existentialist comedy The Graduate signaled a change in the culture and the way movies were made. Much of that change had to do with its leading actor.
I wanted to be... To be what? Different.
There were a lot of people dunking on Dustin Hoffman's height and looks at the time. A Life magazine writer was quoted as saying Hoffman's face had nothing to do with his on-screen appeal. Even his own aunt said he wasn't handsome enough to be in the movies. Although his physical type wasn't traditionally seen on the screen, he helped usher in a new era.
I was going to go upstairs for a minute.
Oh, I meant with your future, your life.
Well, that's a little hard to say.
Andrew Garfield.
I break up with you. I break up with you.
Rejection is hard enough, but before he was an Academy Award nominated Spider-Man playing leading man, Andrew Garfield lost out on a major role for one reason. Producers of the Chronicles of Narnia series didn't believe he was handsome enough to play the noble Prince Caspian.
What can you do? Hey, I'm not handsome enough, Prince Caspian. That was when I was just starting out, so I was like, my God, Narnia, I love Narnia.
The part went to Ben Barnes instead. Millions would disagree with those producers' assessment. The idea that Garfield wasn't handsome enough seems silly now. He's since gone on to play the dreamy romantic lead in dozens of movies. His looks, charm, and charisma have made him a favorite of fans and filmmakers alike.
I can't believe Andrew Garfield invented being sexy. I find it hard to believe to the point of knowing that it's not true.
Donald Sutherland. This Canadian actor had gravitas and the distinction of being in films directed by some of the greatest directors of all time. But his entire career, he believed he was unattractive.
They did call me Dumbo and Goofus because I have these ears that are really large, and when my head was smaller, my ears were still the same size.
In his early life, he was made fun of for the size of his ears and his stature. In an interview with Anderson Cooper, he recalled his mother's frank assessment of his looks as a teenager.
Your face has character, Donald. And I went and hid in my room for at least a day.
Her honesty haunted him throughout his life. From then on, he believed he found success in spite of his physical attributes. Luckily, it didn't stop him from becoming an incredible screen presence.
Particular savvy in that, isn't there?
Robert Pattinson.
That's Edward Cullen. He's totally gorgeous, obviously. But apparently nobody here is good enough for him.
Released at the height of the vampire craze of the late 2000s, the Twilight series was a mega hit that launched its trio of stars to great heights. However, the part of the handsome, glittering vampire Edward Cullen was hard fought for star Robert Pattinson.
The hairstyle, the eyebrows, even the teeth, he started working out, and worked with a trainer. He put a lot of effort and, beautiful effort into it.
Director Catherine Hardwicke said the English actor made the producers of the first movie nervous. They worried he wasn't good looking enough to carry the series, let alone win the hearts of millions of fans who had fallen in love with his character on the page. Given his immediate stardom and career since Twilight ended, it's safe to say there was nothing to worry about.
It's like diamonds. Beautiful.
Clark Gable. In the 1930s, he rose to the top of the classic Hollywood star system. From his strong features to his large ears, Clark Gable filled up the screen with his masculine bravado. At the start of his career, though, his trademark features were his hindrances.
I wouldn't offend you for the world.
You haven't offended me. I just want to do a little thinking.
Studio heavyweight Daryl F. Zanuck was unimpressed with Gable's screen test. He didn't just go after the actor's ears. He was on record likening Gable to an ape.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
Swooning audiences sitting in the cinemas during movies like It Happened One Night and Gone with the Wind would beg to differ. Gable became the dashing template for male stars of the post-silent era.
No, I have a method all my own. If you'll notice, the coat came first, then the tie, then the shirt.
Which of these actors were you most surprised to see on this list? Sound off in the comments below.
Andrew Garfield's spandex-clad buttocks should be legally obliged to appear in all superhero movies from now on. I wonder what my fee would be.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from MsMojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.